Hey, it's Brianne Dick here, co-founder of the Visionary CEO Academy. And today I want to show you a tool that I use to really make sure that I am able to communicate effectively with my team in a way that's going to get me out of the day-to-day, in particular when it comes to communicating the vision for the business. It's called the PVM Builder. And what I love about this tool is how it helps me to craft a vision statement, actually a purpose, vision, and mission statement that my team can then use to make bigger decisions. And I know that the decisions they make are going to be in alignment with the direction I want for the business. So I don't need to worry that they're going to, say the wrong thing or do things the wrong way, or that, that I'm going to look bad at the end of it, because we've got this really clear way of them knowing what the vision is, and they can use that to make decisions. Because, let's be honest, there is a lot of stuff out there about writing vision statements, right? And the truth is that most of the time when people have you write purpose, vision, or mission statements, you end up with lots of words, but those words don't actually help you do anything, right? It's not useful. If you've done these exercises, maybe you've done a values exercise, or maybe you've done purpose, vision, mission before, and then you kind of did the document and then it sits on your hard drive somewhere and you haven't ever looked at it again. That's how most of these exercises end up. And so you can spend a lot of time working on these things and they don't result in any meaningful change in your business. They don't make your life easier. And we don't want that, because the truth is that at the end of the day, the underlying problem of all of this is that your team isn't mind readers, right? They can't read your mind. They can't tell what you want. And so what happens is that in absence of a way for them to read your mind, you end up having to get in there all the time and talk with them. You end up being the hub in the middle of the hub and spoke model where every decision has to come through you. There's a quote from Gino Wickman, which says, most entrepreneurs are clear on their vision. The problem is that they think everyone else around them is too. And when everyone else around you isn't clear, they can't be executing on the things that you want them executing on. And that leads you back again down into the weeds. And ultimately, what can happen is you can have your team that's good at the day-to-day, but you can't actually entrust them or empower them with bigger things, right? You can't get them to be more than just doing the stuff. You want them to be proactive. You want them to be looking for ways to make the business better. You want them to be able to do things in a way that's going to help the business grow and reach more people and impact more people. And unless you have a really clear common understanding of what your vision is for the business, you can't trust them to make those decisions. You have to second check everything that they're doing. And again, that takes you back into the weeds, back into the decision-making process when maybe you don't need to be. What we really want to have instead is we want to have a purpose, vision, mission, and a set of values that is actually useful, right? Something that actually helps us and our team make decisions on a daily basis. We want the team to be able to use that, to be able to not just read our mind, but to be able to come up with something that's better, right? Come up with something that's better than we could have imagined, a better way to reach that vision, a better way to create that impact. So it's not just that they're stuck doing the day-to-day stuff and we're the one who has to come up with all the improvements, but they're actually empowered and they're actually creating really big changes that are in alignment, that move the direction that you want to go. And they're able to take a leadership role within the business. That's what the PVM Builder gives us. And it's a fantastic tool that I'm really excited to walk you through and show you how it works. If you're watching this in the Facebook group, then you know what to do. If you want a copy of the workshop, the worksheet that I'm working on here, and you can fill it out as we go through, you can just drop PVM in the comments down below and we'll hook you up with the builder tool that I'm working on here. If you're watching this anywhere else on social media or out on the web, there should be a link or a button just below this video. You can click that link, click that button, and it'll give you the download that'll take you straight into this PVM builder. All right, so let's take a look first at the big picture. The big picture when it comes to purpose, vision, mission, and values really relates to the decisions that happen in a business. And there are 4 different types of decisions that happen in every business, whether it's a big business or a small business. We have the really big picture questions, right? Why are we doing this? Where are we going? Where are we going? Why are we doing this? These are questions that pertain to vision. Then we have questions relating to when, questions relating to strategy. What is our strategy? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? When should we prioritize this? When should we prioritize that? We also have decisions around what. What does success look like? What plans do we need to put in place? What projects do we need to undertake? What does success look like? What are our KPIs? What do we need to be accomplishing? And then finally, we have decisions around how. How can we actually make things happen? How can we actually execute and get things done? And what I want you to realize is that there's a big gap between the big picture, where and why pictures decisions and the how decisions. And what happens is that we want to be spending our time up being the visionary. We want to be spending our time thinking about the vision and setting the vision. But what happens is that if we don't have a clear way of communicating that and of translating that vision into a strategy, and then translating that strategy into plans, and then translating those plans into something that our team can actually execute, what happens is that we have to come down and pick up the slack. So we end up having to come down into the day-to-day and into the weeds here, because if we can't communicate the vision in a way that gets executed accurately, then that we have no choice but to make sure that we're there with the execution as it's happening. And so if you've ever felt as though you have this really big, clear vision, but the execution just isn't matching up to that, chances are it's because you haven't been able to communicate that vision in a way that your team can actually pick up on and execute. And so what we want to have happen is we want to be able to express this vision in a clear way and then translate it into strategy, into plans, and into execution so that the team can figure out how we get things done. And we can be confident that whatever they come up with is going to be in alignment with our values. Now, I used the values word there, and that's actually where this whole process has to start. Before we can start worrying about communicating your vision, we need to make sure that we know what are the values, not your personal values, but the values that the business is going to operate on. And specifically, we need to make sure that your values are differentiated. What do we mean by differentiated? They have to be so strong and clear that they help your team to make decisions when they have 2 equally good seeming options in front of them, right? The rules for differentiated values are simple. Number 1, they have to be things that set you apart. So you have to think about, what are the things that we do? What are the things that we hold as values that someone else in our industry might hold as an opposite value, right? And this trips people up a lot of times because they're like, oh, I value honesty. I value integrity. But the truth is that no competitor out there is going to advertise that they value dishonesty and that they are proud to act without integrity, right? That doesn't happen. And so that's why those kind of values aren't actually useful, because they don't tell your team, when I have 2 equally good options, what should I do? How should I choose between them? So the first rule of a differentiated value is it has to be something that another company in your industry would legitimately hold the opposite value of and be proud to advertise that to their customers, to their audience, to people out there. All right. And there's a number of questions you can use to get at there. You can ask questions like, what sets us apart? What contributes to our success? What is it that would make someone a great fit to work for us, but not for someone else in our industry? How do we interact with each other that's different than the way our team operates? You can come up with these different ideas that really help you get to the heart of what makes us unique, what makes us different, what are the values that show up that are different in the way that we operate. And once you know that, then you can go on to the second checklist, right? You know, the differentiated things. The second thing is you have to say, is it actionable? So every value can't just be a word. It has to actually be an action. We like short phrases for this. 3 to 5 words, really simple. Should start with a verb. So what's a verb that you could put in front of this value that you've come up with? Figure out what that looks like. Because again, when you put a verb and you make it into an action, it allows your team to start making decisions based on that element. And then thirdly, the third kind of checkbox criteria for do you have a good set of values? Do you have good differentiated values is, are they prioritized? Because the truth is that if your values are coming into conflict, if there's ever a choice where it's like, we could do this or we could do this, and option A is more aligned with this value and option B is more aligned with this value, your team needs to have a way to make those decisions without automatically coming back to you. And so we need to prioritize those values and be able to say, if all else fails, we do this. And then second priority, we do this. If you can do that, you can come up with a prioritized list of 3 to 5 values. You'll be well on your way to helping your team make good decisions without you having to be in the weeds with them. So how do values then translate into purpose, vision, and mission? Well, we go to what we call the PVM Builder, which is, of course, the name of this video. And the way that we think about this is that it's not just enough to have a vision. A vision is great, but a vision is something that's kind of projected out into the future. What we want, again, is something that is useful. And for that, we don't need just one statement. We need 3. We need a purpose statement, we need a vision statement, and we need a mission statement. And they all have to build on top of each other. The first one that we define is the purpose statement. And the purpose statement is your big picture reason that this business exists. It's the capital T truth that exists, that you believe is a capital T truth that isn't fully manifest in the world yet. So for example, our vision is that we believe every person is a person first, last, and always. That's why our business exists. That's a truth. We believe that every person is a person. It's not manifesting out there in the world yet. There's a lot of systemic injustice. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of problems with the patriarchy. There's a lot of ableism. There's a lot of sizeism. There's a lot of problems out there. And so the fact that every person is a person first, last, and always has not yet been fully realized. But that's the purpose of our business, is to make progress toward that being fully realized. You want a shortcut to coming up with your purpose statement? It's always found in your highest vision or your highest value. And that's why we need to start with the value. Pick your highest value. Whatever you believe around that, that's your business's purpose. And if it doesn't make sense, that means you probably have to go deeper into your values. Once you have your purpose statement, then we can translate it, because we said, this is about a statement. Our purpose is why our business exists, what we're going to make happen. The vision is what the world's going to start to look like once we have started to make that happen. So 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, as we're making progress, how will our industry, how will our clients, how will our world around us start to look different when we've started making progress toward that purpose? For us, this is a statement that says we are going to accelerate the transformation of online business so that every business owner loves their life, every client gets results, and every team member is empowered. And we believe that if those 3 things happen, if every business owner loves their life, if every team member is empowered, and every client gets results for our business and for our client's business, then we'll be well on our way to creating a world where every person is a person and to creating that reality. And when it comes to the vision statement, like I said, this is future casting, right? This is what's the world going to look like as we started to make these changes. And not only what's the world going to look like, but what's our role in making it happen? So what is it going to look like? And what's our role? We're going to accelerate this transformation. What is it for you? What role do you want to play? Do you want to facilitate? Do you want to accelerate? Do you want to lead? Do you want to champion? Do you want to empower? What is it for you? What is your role? And then again, this is in the future. It's not useful if it's in the future. We need something that's going to help us every single day. And that's where the mission comes into play. The mission is the statement of how does this look on a day-to-day basis? And specifically, how do we need to show up every single day as a team, as a business, as a company, if we're going to make that vision a reality? So the questions that I want you to ask here are, what is it that you do? What is it that you produce? What kind of business are you running, right? What is it that you are outputting into the world that's going to make that vision happen? For us, we are creating a leadership institute. We are creating a training program. We're creating an environment to really be training and empowering the next generation of leaders. So our output is to be a leadership institute, and not just any leadership institute, but the best leadership institute. For us, we want to be the most advanced leadership institute, not for anyone, not for just anyone, not for everyone out there in the world, but for our perfect clients, we want to be the best at what we do. And that's the form of the mission statement, to be the best at what we do for the people we do it for, right? For us, our mission is to be the most advanced leadership institute for visionary CEOs who are scaling progressive, sustainable, profitable online businesses. That is our mission. And if I show up that way every day, if that's how I'm striving to be, if that's how my team members are striving to be, if that's how we aim every day to show up, to be acting in a way that's in alignment with being the most advanced leadership institute for visionary CEOs who are scaling progressive, sustainable, profitable online businesses, then the vision can happen, right? Then this vision of having an online industry where every business owner loves their life and every team member is empowered and every client gets results, that can happen. And when that happens, we know we will be closer to a world where every person is a person first, last, and always. And the best thing about having a purpose, vision, and mission that is stated this way, the PVM or PVMV, if you want to add values back in there, is that when you have this and every team member knows this purpose, vision, and mission, they know the values, it gives you such a clear decision filter for every person on your team. If you're trying to choose between two projects, you can simply say, which one is more in alignment with that mission? Which project better represents you showing up as the best at what you do? If you're trying to decide what to do about, a challenge, maybe there's something going on with a client, you can go to your values, you can go to your mission, you can go and say which option, which alternative, which path forward is going to allow us to make progress and show up in the way we want to be showing up. And best of all, once you have this purpose, this vision, this mission, and these values so clearly stated, you don't personally need to be involved in making those decisions because your vision will actually be imbued into the way your team makes decisions. And you can teach them when they come to you with a question. You can simply say, what does our mission say? What do our values say? And they can learn to be making really empowered decisions that are in alignment, not only with your values, but will also take your business in the direction you want to go. And so when it comes to figuring out how to get out of the day-to-day and how not to have to be involved in all of the decisions going on, I really think that this PVM Builder is such a powerful place to start because it helps get the vision out of your head in a way that empowers your team to make the decisions so you don't have to be involved. And that allows you to elevate out of that how level and start focusing on the bigger picture and ultimately focus on how you can make that vision a reality on a much broader scale. So again, if you want the worksheet for this PVM Builder, if you want to be able to go through and map out your PVM statements, if you want to be thinking about what your values are, go ahead and just drop PVM in the comments if you're watching here on Facebook. Otherwise, there will be a link below the video. You can go ahead and click the link, download will be sent directly to you. You can get this worksheet, you can use it, and you too can finally find a way to communicate your vision in a way that gets you out of the day-to-day.